Hey podcast, just before we get you to this episode, I wanted to invite you to join us at pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and we want you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make the pageant industry safe, transparent, and fair, and we'd love your input on how to do that. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, whack in your email address, and let's get you to this episode.
I'm Sadie Pulman, Miss Wales Finalist 2020, and I'm being interviewed by the Pageant Project.
What's up, everyone? It's Adrian from the Pageant Project. Apologies for the delay. We've been dealing with tech issues, both Sadie and myself, to be clear. But I have with me Sadie Pulman, who's a finalist for Miss Wales 2020. Sadie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
And if you have any questions for Sadie, if you've never tuned into one of my interviews before, whack them in the comments and I'll read them out to her. If you leave loads of messages of support, that's great too. I'll probably let Sadie go through those by herself at the end. Otherwise, I end up, sometimes in my interviews, Sadie, I just end up reading all these nice comments to the person. So
I mean, you can read a few out. I won't mind.
Well, Larry Roberts has said, hi, Sadie, and Kelly Tamplin has
hi.
said, Sadie with the... And I have to describe these emojis, which is the smiley with the heart eyes. Brogan Perrin has said, hey, Sadie, with a heart. Molly Phillips has said, go, Sadie, with 2 X's. So, and Amy Louise McLaughlin has said, woo, Sadie. You see, I told you.
These girls are so lush. I love Pageant World.
And Lauren Parkinson has said, hey. All right. So, there you go. Now that we've... boosted your ego somewhat. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say.
But Sadie, have in the shot or?
Yeah, no, it's completely blown up. Sadie, have you recovered from your saltiness from the games night? That's what I wanted to start.
I knew this was the first thing you were going to bring up. I did almost have a Welsh flag as my background today, but I'm still recovering. I think salty is not the best word to be known for, but I was a bit salty after that.
Unfortunately.
Well done to England, though. I'm not a sore loser.
Unfortunately, people's memories work well on words starting with the same letter. So salty Sadie.
Don't start that as a trend. That's not what I need.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, thank you for tuning in. So, talking to Sadie, by the way, with the gaming, not you guys watching. But you guys watching, if you have any questions, God, you got lots of messages already. Sadie, let's start with the easy stuff. And then, guys, again, if you have any questions for Sadie, put them in the comments. But can you give us an idea as to what got you started in pageantry to begin with and what your pageantry journey has been so far leading up to this point?
Yeah, sure. So I actually did my first pageant in 2015. So 5 years ago now. I can't believe how fast the time has flown. So I did Miss Wales as my first pageant. So coming back now, it kind of feels like I'm going full circle. My motivation for doing Miss Wales in the first place was I wasn't in a very good place in my life. I was taking a gap year before I went to uni. So all my friends moved away. I was struggling to find things to do or people to hang around with. And at that point, my mum was also very ill. So I was looking for something just to boost my morale, be involved with something positive where I could do something that could also help others. Obviously, with Miss Wales, you have the charity Beauty with a Purpose, which I'm sure we'll come on to a little bit further in the interview. But in the first case where I first applied for Miss Wales, I didn't even know pageants existed, or certainly not in the UK. I think everyone's typical idea of pageants on TV is toddlers and tiaras, that type of stuff.
Yep.
And I actually saw a documentary where they were doing some filming for Miss England. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? There's a massive group of girls and they were doing a fitness exercise. And I was like, okay, fitness not for me, but definitely the team bonding and seeing all these girls come together. I was like, I need to find how I can do this. Is there a Miss Wales? Is there a Welsh version? So I got on Google and I saw that there was, sent an application, like spur of the moment, and I received an email back saying that my application had been successful for an interview. Went for my interview like a deer in headlights. Honestly, I had no clue what to expect. I remember going to River Island and buying this glittery dress. And when I went to my interview, I left a trail of glitter absolutely everywhere. It was all over the seats. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to pay for their cleaning bill because it's everywhere. And I was thinking, no way are they going to ask me to be in this. I've made a fool of myself. But Paula, who runs it, she selected me to be a finalist, and then it just was a whirlwind. It was one of the best experiences of my life. I made so many friends. Kelly Tamplin, who you mentioned at the beginning, was someone I met during Miss Wales in 2015, and we're such good friends now. So these friendships really do last. And after that, I had won the Spirit of Miss Wales award, which was an award given directly by Paula the night before at the charity ball. And I was so emotional after that. It meant so much to me because at that point I wasn't in it, to win the crown. I was just trying to make friends, and I just wanted a positive environment. So to win that, I just felt so overwhelmed, and I thought, this is my home. This is something I need to keep doing. The pageant world was absolutely incredible, and at that point I was only just getting into it. I did a couple of Holly's pageants then. So I did Miss Galaxy Wales. This is when they were still separate, so I know it's just Galaxy UK now. And I did the Power pageant. And again, just really positive experiences. But I did feel that at those points I wasn't ready, and had a lot of things, a lot of noise going on in the background in my life. And I had uni to think about, then going into a job. So I just took a step back, took a couple of years out. And actually, I did think I'd hung up my pageant heels forever. I didn't think that I would come back. I thought I'd just be a supporter. I carried on supporting all the girls. And it was actually Gabriella and Emma's leaving do. So Gabriella, who is Miss Wales currently, and Emma, who's Miss Universe GB, they had a joint leaving do. So me and Kelly went up to that. And I was just going to say, good luck, guys. I've known them for years. Emma had won Miss Wales the year I competed. And me and Gabriella have volunteered together a few times at Miss Universe GB, helping out as well. So I was so proud of them. I just thought, both of these people together in 1 year, I have to go. And I just got the bug. As soon as I went into the room and I saw all the other finalists, I was thinking, why am I not doing this? And I thought, I'm too old now. So I'm 25 at the moment. I thought, I'll be too old by the final. I've missed my chance. And in the car on the way home, I checked, and there was a day left to apply. And I'm just in the cut-off age-wise. So I was like, I've got to do it. Send my application there and then. And here I am, competing again.
You made the cutoff by 1 day? You got your entry in within 1 day?
Yeah, it was literally, the cut-off line was the next day. And I had to... When I went to apply, I went to click send and it wasn't working either. So I was thinking, I've missed it. But it says tomorrow. And I emailed Paula and I was like, please still accept my entry. And she was like, yeah, it's fine. You can just, I had to email it then because there was an issue with the website. But went for my interview, and it was just, I just felt like I came home. Like in my interview with Paula, it felt like it was a catch up with old friends, with a world that, even though I was still supporting, it was just nice to be taking that step back into more of a front-facing role with it all. So I'm happy to be back.
That's a whirlwind of a story, especially.
Sorry, I could talk forever.
Making it no, it's good. My brain's still not quite working. It's still very early in the morning, so it's good that you know what you've done, and because otherwise, I can't prompt you about your own story. I'm not familiar with it. I'll bring you up to date with the comments. Kelly Tamplin has said she loves you with, I think they're yellow hearts.
I love you too, Kelly.
Catherine Fian has said you are so beautiful.
Oh, she is my pageant sister, my absolute little sister. I love her.
She's written sad, but I imagine that's the abbreviated version of Sade. So
It's a bit of an unfortunate abbreviation.
yeah, it says you are so beautiful, sad. I'm assuming that's Sade. Kelly has also said she's so excited about the comeback, and Ellen Berman Jones has put a few fire emojis there. So there you go. Guys, again, I'm going to remind you, if you actually have any questions, no one's actually put any questions. Everyone's just being lovely to Sadie, so her head is going to explode by the end of this interview. Sadie, you mentioned about Beauty with a Purpose, and obviously that's a Miss World thing around the world. We have it here in Australia, and it's obviously at internationals. So for Beauty with a Purpose, what has your cause or project been?
So there's kind of two-tailed this. So in terms of my fundraising for Beauty with a Purpose, I've actually been doing sponsored events. So I did Dry January and a running challenge. There was supposed to be a part 3. I was supposed to be climbing Snowdon. So I'm not sure if you know if that's the highest mountain in Wales. So I was supposed to be
I've actually been through there, yeah.
Oh, have you? So I was supposed to be doing that, and that will still come at some point whenever I'm allowed to do so. So that will be a part 3 of my sponsored fundraising. So all of that then will go to various children's charities. That'll be selected by Paula, and that will be going to Welsh children. So even though Beauty of the Purpose is fundraised all around the world, it's spent in the country it's raised in. But as part of that, I've got another message, and my key focus and my main drive, and it has been before I was doing Miss Wales, is gender equality and female empowerment. So some of the things that I've been up to in that regard is for International Women's Day. Some of the people watching actually came to my event. So for International Women's Day, I held an event. It was a free event. It wasn't necessarily a fundraiser. The purpose of this was more for me to give back to the women in my community, the women that I found inspirational, both in my life and people I didn't know and I hadn't met that I just invited. And I had a motivational speaker who was Hannah Fit from the Safe Foundation. So I'll give them a little shout out as well. Hannah has been a mentor of mine for years, and I'm actually on the board of trustees for the charity she's a director for. So
amazing.
With the Safe Foundation, it also gives me a big opportunity to work on gender equality because I get to work on projects around the world. Before I was a trustee, I went on numerous projects abroad, and I got to teach about gender equality to both children and adults. And I got to see firsthand how people are suffering in places where there isn't a very equal dynamic and there is very patriarchal societies. And when equality isn't in place, I have seen the dire situations people can get into. So it is really important for me to spread that message. And I do feel like I've gathered this knowledge and background from my work since 18. I've been working with this charity, so 7 years. And that is something that through Miss Wales, I'm really fortunate to have a platform to voice that as well. I've done a campaign just today, actually. So if anyone's watching, has not seen that yet, jump to my Instagram or my Facebook page, and there's a campaign there for you to tell me how, or tell the world how you use your voice. So whether that's praising another girl, giving a compliment, whether that's teaching about something that you're educated on, whether that's speaking out for injustice or something you've seen that's not right. There's so many ways you can use your voice as women, and that's a message that's really, really important to me.
And guys, you said if anyone's watching, there are a lot of people watching. Guys, if you do want to, I imagine most of you probably already follow Sadie on Instagram, but if you don't, there's a link to her Instagram account in the description of this video, so you can go check that out. Sadie, I've done a lot of work in gender equality as well, and my experience has been whenever anyone is passionate about it, there's a reason for it. You don't just go into gender equality. I mean, no one gets passionate about a cause for no reason. So why is it that gender equality is it's so close to your heart?
I think this is always a difficult one to answer without getting too deep and triggering. So I won't go too deep because I don't necessarily think it's the time or the place.
You don't
But
have to. Yeah.
I think every woman who is watching this now, I don't need to give you statistics, facts and figures. Every woman who is watching now will at some point face an injustice because they are a woman, whether they realised it at the time or not. And I think certainly as a teenager, I didn't realise certain things that were happening, and I didn't realise what I was facing. And I think that as you get older, you learn to realise what is right and wrong, and you learn to recognise when something isn't quite right. And I think my personal experiences have been very difficult, and I've had a long emotional journey and process to deal with some of the things that have happened in my past.
Okay.
So it's something that I've always been conscious of, and I'd say since 16, certain things occurred.
Sure.
And then at 18, I went on my first, was it 18, around 18 or 19? I went on my first trip away with the Safe Foundation. So I went to Sierra Leone for an education project. Wow. And at that point, I'd mentioned earlier, my mum wasn't very well. So she had breast cancer. And I always looked up to my mother. She was an absolute warrior. She was someone that would fight a cause that was right. She was very fiery, but she was passionate. So just even having this incredible female role model to look up to, and my sister and my auntie, I'm just surrounded by incredible females, my friends. And it's just hard not to want to celebrate that all the time. All these strong females that have been through God knows what. Again, I know for a fact some of my friends have been through certain situations, and it's hard not to want to fight that when you know it's not right. So I just think it's something that's naturally happened. It's not something I sought out. It's something I've seen firsthand all over the world. I've been fortunate enough to go on these trips, but it's obviously hard to witness that as well. So it just comes naturally. You can't see these things and not want to help and not want to do something.
Absolutely. I guess, and we've got a few questions now, so guys, I will circle back around to your questions in a moment. I just want to ask Sadie, do you feel that, at least in the Western world, so in the UK, for example, we are making forward steps, that we are closer to equality now than we were before, or do you think that we've still got a long way to go?
Of course. Well, you look at anything historically and it seems like a blip when you're looking in hindsight, but change and movement is a very, very long process, whether it's gender equality, whether it's racial equality. There's so many types of equality that the journey is just staggering how long it will take. I think there have been positive steps, and I'm quite fortunate enough to have moved into a place where I think my employer is very good with gender equality. I'm in Pageant, so in my personal life, I see all these strong women fighting causes, but I know that's not the case everywhere. I do think there has been positive change, but I do think there's still a long way to go. There's still a pay gap. That's something that needs to be, that needs to move forward. I think that, again, it's slightly triggering, but I think in terms of, there's still so many cases of domestic violence. There's so many cases of sexual violence. I think there's so many cases of sexism, and just, I don't think the youth or teenagers in general are educated enough during school, during university. I think university can be a terrible place for sexism. Yep. And there just needs to be more education. And I think once you do educate people, I've been on nights out with my friends and I've witnessed stuff, and I've walked up to the perpetrator and I've explained what he's doing and what impact he's having. And obviously you're going to get times you're not always going to be able to do that, but sometimes I can't hold myself back. If I see something that's not right, I'll say.
You can't help yourself.
And there's been one case in particular where the male in question was absolutely mind blown by what I was saying. And he said, I never even thought of it that way. But how? And it's just staggering because he's never been told. And I know you shouldn't have to be told, but there does need to be more done at school level, at university level, to educate people.
Yeah, it boggles my mind when I see a man or even a woman, because sometimes women are women's
Oh yeah, of
worst
course.
enemies, and sometimes you go, how can you not see it that way, or how can you see it that way? But you got
Yeah,
to bear in mind that not everyone comes from a great home environment, and if they had
yeah, of course.
poor examples growing up, then that's just what they've assumed is normal, and it is very sad and very frightening. And I completely agree with you. We do need more education, and domestic violence at the moment is a horrible thing. I mean, it's always a horrible thing, but it's gotten a lot
Yeah,
worse apparently. I'm sure you've seen some of the statistics with
yeah.
corona because everyone is locked
It's
indoors.
awful.
Yeah, and I've spoken to a couple of, I spoke to one person in particular, obviously I won't say who it was, whose domestic violence has just, she's in a situation, it's gotten a lot worse with corona, and she's actually looking to move to a women's shelter. It's like, oh my God, it is properly horrible. So, oh, Sadie, are you still there? Sorry, guys, lost Sadie for a second. I think my internet is glitching something fierce, but we're back live. I don't know what you guys at home, the last thing you heard was, but I was just mentioning domestic violence at home has gotten a lot worse because of Corona, and yeah, it's a horrible situation. So there's a lot of work to be done for sure. I'll go to the viewer questions now, Sadie,
Cool.
because there are a few. Kelsey Dowling has asked, what is the thing you most enjoy about competing in pageants?
Oh, it's got to be the friendships. There's just nothing else that compares to that. So I've got friends that I've met all throughout my journey. I've got friends that I've never met in real life, and I would consider them friends. You just do that, don't you? So it's not even just the
Mm,
girls in your own system. It's whole community. If you're not in the pageant world, you just have no idea how big and
yeah, that's
crazy
true.
and what a crazy, wonderful world it is. And there is just nothing that can replicate it. It's got to be the best thing.
I imagine most of your social circle by now have been to a pageant or a fundraising event, haven't they? I mean, there's no one who still hasn't
Yeah,
really been.
well, lots of all of my close friends have come to see me or come to one of my events, so they do have an idea about it. But there is just
Yeah.
something. As soon as you get involved, it's like opening one door, there's another door, and there's just this whole world.
You go down the rabbit hole and see how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Exactly.
Uh, Millie Mae Adams has asked, what advice would you give to someone considering entering a pageant?
I would say before you enter a pageant, sit down and ask yourself, why are you entering? Because there are people who just think pageants are getting up on stage and wearing a nice dress, which is fine. It's fun to do. It's fun to do that part. We all enjoy that part. I
Of
love
course.
dressing up. I'm quite girly and I like that element. But for me, I've had a different reason every single time I've entered a pageant. At first, it was because I was craving friendship and a community. That was a great reason for me to first compete at Miss Wales. Then it was a case of trying to find myself. Then it
Mm,
was it's learning about yourself. And I think now going into Miss Wales 2020, I really did ask myself, what is my motivation here? And sometimes you also need a refresher with that. Me and Kelly had a call the other day, and we just reminded ourselves, what is our intention and what do we want out of it? And of course, if you're entering a pageant, you've got winning somewhere in the brain.
of course,
Something
yeah.
that's something that is going to be important to you. You wouldn't enter unless you could see yourself as that role. I'm sure everyone competing now has that dream, has that goal, but you need to consider, what will I get if I don't win? What will I get out of this competition if I don't win? And if you haven't really got answers for that, it's going to be different for everyone. So I
Mm.
can't tell people what motivates them. But if there's nothing else you're getting from it other than wanting a crown on your head, then maybe it's not for you.
Yeah, I would definitely second that. I've seen girls who've entered pageants and they haven't had that reason other than winning, and then when they haven't lost, they've become horrifically depressed. So I would definitely agree with you on that. It's not
Yeah.
worth getting depressed over. Back to your event, because you were mentioning your event when we were talking about Women's Day, International Women's Day. Kelsey Dowling has said, "Love the event, brilliant, empowering evening."
Oh, thanks for coming, Kels.
Rachel has asked, Rachel Stevens, what are you most looking forward to during the finals weekend when we eventually get there?
I know. Oh, I can't wait for it to come. So, the part I loved the most, and I think I'm going to love the most this time as well, was the empowerment day, hands down. Obviously, I think most people would expect you to say being on stage or the actual live event itself. But with Miss Wales, for anyone that doesn't know, it's a 3-day event. You start with an empowerment day, you have a charity ball the following day for Beauty with a Purpose, and then you have interviews and the final on the following day. In the empowerment day, for me, that's where it really hit home when I did it in 2015 that this is something really positive that I'm doing. This is something that's helping me learn about myself. It's helping me learn about other people. It gives you that confidence and those skills for everyday life, not just for the pageant. It's skills that are
Yeah.
transferable and you can take away. So whatever happens on the final, you've got this amazing experience that not everyone gets to have, but you get to take that away with you for your everyday life. And 5 years on, I'm still holding on to the lessons I learned on that day. So I can't wait to have a top up and see some of the girls who haven't competed before get to go through that journey just as I did 5 years ago. It'll be really nice to see that.
Does it feel like five? I mean, how does 5 years feel going back?
Oh, I do feel like I'm one of the grandmas of the year this year. I feel like there's like
Sadie.
I do feel like a bit of a nan because there is girls. So Miss Wales is from 17, so there's girls that are just getting to the prime of their life, 17, and they've got all these amazing things going on, and I'm just like, oh my god, 17 seems like a million years ago to me. I can't even remember being 17. Um, and I think looking back, it doesn't seem like 5 years at all when I think about it. But when I think about my journey since then, and I think about the girl I was when I competed then, it's not a different person, but it's a much more well-rounded,
Yeah.
secure, confident person. So I think when I look back at my journey, I can see a lot of progress in that time, and then you do realize how long it has been.
Yeah. You're definitely, for the record, you're definitely not a grandma at the right. What are you? You're 25?
25. I felt like I needed to get on TikTok just to prove myself. So I've done a couple of TikToks, so I must be young and cool now.
I'm not sure that's how TikTok works. It depends how good your TikToks are, but yeah, we'll go with that. Molly Phillips has asked, what would you say is the most important thing you've learned whilst competing in a pageant?
It's the most important thing I've learned is to have the right intentions at all times. So I think it is easy to get swept up. It's easy to compare yourself to other people. It's easy to get competitive. And to a degree, being competitive is a positive thing. It helps you grow, it helps you improve, it helps you be the best you can be. But I think there is a point, and I think throughout pageants, I've really learned to love myself for who I am and love other people for who they are. We don't need to be the same people. We don't need to be doing the same things. We can have different causes. And I think as long as I've got my focus and what I care about, and that is my main drive at all times, I think that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned.
Now, I will let you go back through the comments after this, Sadie. There's a lot of messages of support there. I won't read them out, otherwise we will be here the whole day. I'm just scanning for the questions. So guys, if you have any questions, I'm just going to read out the questions. I'll leave the messages of support for now, otherwise I just will be here forever and I don't want to leave anyone out. Chloe Lake has said, you are clearly really passionate about women's rights. It's thrown around a lot. And so what does the term real woman mean to you?
Sometimes the term real woman does annoy me sometimes because it gets used often by by people who are celebrating what they are, and they say this is what a real woman is. Well,
Yeah.
again, that's a really great question from Chloe, and she is a brain box, as we've all seen, so she is going to
Mm-hmm.
ask a good question. I think there is no definition of a real woman. Any woman that exists is a real woman. We all have different things about us to celebrate. We all have different qualities, and there just isn't one definition. There can't be.
I liken that to when people, because it used to be if you're too fat, you should be thinner. And now it's
Yeah,
reversed where there are people body shaming. And I interviewed someone who was on a train and she was skinny and she was being body shamed for being too skinny. And it's like a lot of people have these predetermined ideas as to a woman should be like this and a woman should look like that, when
there's just no
we should just be
boundary.
celebrating the
Yeah,
uniqueness.
yeah, of
So
course. Anyone who's
uh,
watching, if you're a woman, you're a real woman. Let's just put it as that.
well, I mean, what's the opposite, right? I mean, what, you're not a real woman? I mean, that it doesn't make any sense. So
Who
it's a bit of a,
knows?
yeah, it's a bit of a funny term. Obviously, Chloe, you've caught Chloe's attention, or she's just that bored and she's eating her Tim Tams, because she's got another two questions for you here. Chloe, Chloe has asked, what is your definition of success?
I think as long as you are on target for your goals, you're working towards them, and you believe in yourself and what you're doing. If you're on that journey, it doesn't matter if you've got to the end yet. If you're hitting some of your short-term goals and you're on your way to your long-term goals, you're a success. You're successful. That goal can be. I have goals some days where I am simply saying, okay, just get through work today, and that can just be get through
Mm,
my job, and I don't need to do anything else because I'm mentally drained. So if I
yeah.
get to the end of the day and I've done my job, then that's a success for me. If I decide I want to have a fitness goal, if I decide I want to create my own project, all these little wins, they're all
Mm,
successes for me. And I don't think you need to always wait until you've got the absolute end goal, because
yeah.
life is a journey and we're going to have multiple goals.
Yeah, I think specifically at the moment, for some people, just getting out of bed would
Yeah,
actually be a successful day, because a lot of people who are struggling just to get out of bed
yeah.
with Corona around. Chloe has also asked, if you could get one message out to the world, what would it be?
I would say speak your truth. That's my one clear message. So, of course, I'm all for equality. That's one of my main messages. And I think a big part of equality is having a voice, having the freedom
Mm,
to speak about the causes that, not even necessarily causes, but whatever you believe in, stand up for that. Whoever you are, show the world, speak your truth always. And I think that's a key message I'd like to get across.
very nice. Megan Goldberger has asked, what made you return to Miss Wales?
It was simply the fact that I went to this leave-in do, and I was having a catch up. So I spoke to both Gabriella and I spoke to Emma just to say, good luck. Or what have you been up to? And when they were telling me their stories, uh, Gabriella in particular, I know she's tried for years, and I've seen her grow and grow and grow. And to see someone return and then get their dream after all these years, I was thinking, well, hang on, I could return. So
Mm,
it was starting to niggle away at me. And then I spoke to Emma not long after, and she was telling me about her trip to India after winning. And we were both getting emotional having this conversation. She was telling me about her experiences. And obviously I've done a lot of international development work with the Safe Foundation. I've been to India a couple of times,
mm,
Swaziland, Sierra Leone, and I just felt such a connection to what she was saying. I almost forgot, because my motivations for pageants were to make friends. I almost forgot there was this whole other element. I almost forgot that, hang on, I don't necessarily need to get something out of the pageant, but I've got a lot to bring this time. I've got causes I'm passionate about, and suddenly pageants weren't something for me to get out of. It was a platform for me to spread spread my messages, and a platform to get what I want to cross. And it just clicked. Something just clicked, and it felt right. It felt like the right time to go back.
I think that's one of the good things about Beauty with a Purpose is you can sort of bring your own unique,
Yeah.
what you're passionate about to it. Nothing wrong with with a pageant having a chosen charity specifically, but the fact that you get to bring something you're passionate about, I think, is a really,
Yeah, I
really good
love
idea.
that.
Yeah. Now, this is probably a Welsh name because it's got double Lyn, and I'm going to say that it looks like Ellen, but is it? How do you pronounce
No,
it? Is
it
it
is Ellen.
Esloo?
It is
It's
Ellen.
Ellen. I look at Welsh names and go.
She has been called Elwine before in an Australian accent, so you can just call her that if you want.
I'm just going to call her Elle. Elle Berman Jones, sorry, has asked, what are your plans for after this pageant?
Well, I guess that depends on whether I'm successful.
What's happening? Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with the hypothetical that I've won the crown, and I'll tell you about some of my plans that I have already put into action. So one thing that I'm really hoping to do is, obviously I've discussed some of the causes I'm passionate about and some of the work I've done internationally. Well, one thing I'd love to do, and is already set in motion, so I will be doing it regardless. This is something that I've got in motion with the SAFE Foundation, is that I will be rolling out a small workshop in primary schools, maybe some high schools as well, but to start with, focus on primary schools, about global citizenship, gender equality, and life skills. So some of the things I've taught when I have been on my international project. So that's in motion. So I won't say too much specific about that because it's still a process, but I've got some resources. I've got some people that are willing to help me with that. So that is something that I would absolutely love to do as a Miss Wales, but also I'll be doing it regardless.
Sure. Whereabouts in Wales are you?
Right now I'm in Llandudno. So that's a double L. That's going to be a difficult one for you to say. So
say that again. Where are you?
Llandudno.
Do I even want to ask how to spell that?
No, just don't worry. But it's North Wales. I actually live in Cardiff in South Wales, but my boyfriend lives up north, and I've come to quarantine here. I was supposed to be coming up to climb a mountain, and now I've been here imposing on his family for 5-6 weeks.
God works in mysterious ways. I just ask because I have spent a lot of time, well, a fair bit of time in Wales, in Cardiff, and then we went to the west coast, and it was Dothgethlau? I don't know how to. It was on the west coast. Now. And it was by the ocean, and it was these double L's, double somethings, and then the guy said it, and it's like, it sounds nothing like what it's spelled. I think it was Dothgethlau. We had to drive through, was it the Brecon Beacons or the forest? That giant sort of ancient Welsh forest. And it was miles and miles of driving at dark. That's all I remember. But these Welsh names they say Scottish is hard to understand, but I'll tell you that Welsh is very hard to read. Can you say that Welsh name? That long one?
No, do you know I did? I was going to practice this because I thought you might ask me, but it's one of my absolute. Oh no, I can't do it. I'll learn.
I get a feeling that people are beginning to think that the questions that I ask are going to be if you have any sort of hidden talent, if you have an impression, if you can do an accent, if there's a long word, people go, you're going to ask me this, aren't you? It's like, yeah, I guess that's how I keep myself entertained, I guess.
No, I know Gabriella can say it, but I've been watching videos. I've tried to learn it, but I think that one's a bit out of my league.
When I interviewed Gabriella, she was saying, and this is after she won, she was saying that I think it was a WhatsApp group or something, and all the Welsh girls would just get Gabriella to literally voice note words because they found the way that she said things really funny. I don't remember the words. I remember almond was one.
Almond.
Yeah, and apparently everyone thought the way she said.
In a Welsh accent.
I don't know why, but apparently that was really funny, the way she said it. So
I don't think I've got a strong Welsh accent. Do you think I do?
Well, I'm not that. See, I can understand what a Scottish accent is,
Yeah.
When I hear an Irish accent, I now know what it is. A Welsh accent is very hard for me to go, that's a Welsh accent. I'm not sure what it is. Um, Megan said, I mean, obviously there's a few Welsh phrases that are very odd to me, like whose coat is that jacket? And now in a minute. And the one that everyone does the impression of, I'm not going to lie to you, because apparently
Oh, I'm
that's a
not going to
Welsh
lie to you. No, I do say that quite a lot. Oh, I'm not going to lie to you, but
You don't know. You don't have by any means the strongest Welsh accent I've had heard. But can you explain the whose coat is that jacket? I really don't understand it.
I don't personally say this, but it is a. So I'm not far from Barry, so that's where Gavin and Stacey set. So a lot of people
Right.
in Barry do say that. Whose coat's that jacket? But I don't. I didn't. It's just.
But it
It's
doesn't
just
make
something
any
you said.
sense. It does-
Oh, can I ask as well? Because this one, I messaged you about this.
yeah.
Smooth the dog. Is this a South Australian thing? So if you pet the dog, I say smooth the dog. I get told that's crazy, but I swear this is a Welsh thing. If it's not, girls, just tell me. But smooth the dog. Am I the only one who says that?
Well, I'm sure you're not the only one, but to me that sounds like something you do when you run a dog over with a car, or when you get when you get that thing that you smooth concrete out, and for some reason the dog's on the floor, and you just decide to smooth the dog out with a.
Give them a little
It,
smooth.
we call pat the
Pat the
dog,
dog. But
or
Pat's like
yeah,
aggressive, isn't it? It's
or stroke. Well,
you just smooth the dog.
we say stroke if it's a cat. Stroke the
Okay,
cat.
fair,
Not.
fair enough.
I mean, I understand what you mean, but no, I
Yeah.
can't say I've heard of that expression, smooth the dog. Well, Welsh expressions are funny because you can understand the words, but then you still can't understand it. It's not like Scottish, you go, hang on, what did she just say or he just say?
Yeah.
It's literally, I understand the words, and if anyone can explain to me whose coat is that jacket, because that to me, it's still, I understand it, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, back to the questions. Rachel Stevens has asked, what is your favorite method of self-care?
Do you know, this is something I actually really need to work on because I don't think I have. I don't think I have a good one. So, guys, if any of you can suggest something for me, please tell me because I've tried baths, but I just find them boring, sitting there for too
Mm.
long. Eating is not going to help me because I will just eat forever. So, guys, if any of you do have some suggestions, please send them my way because I really need to do more self-care. I'm constantly tired.
I'm with you on the baths. I love the idea of a bath, and when I'm running, I get excited, and then I sit in it, and I get really bored really quickly, and I just
Yeah.
want to get out.
It's nice for
So,
2 minutes. I'm like, oh, okay, this is lovely. And then I'm like, right, what now? And I haven't got the
I,
patience for a bath.
I don't know. I see people with glasses of red wine and their laptop watch a whole Netflix series in a bath. I'm like, I couldn't do that. I also don't think it's a
No,
good
it's
idea
not
because you
for
might
me.
drop the laptop in the bath. Ruby Hartery has asked, how are you enjoying North Wales? North Wales, Sadie.
Do you know what? I'm loving it. I actually feel like this is a blessing in disguise. So I think right now you do need to take your wins because there are times
Mm,
I find it really hard because I'm obviously up here with my boyfriend's family. I'm not with any of my own family. I'm not with my housemate Nicole, who we've been best friends since we were 2 years old. So I've never once spent this amount of time away from her because we now live together after growing up on the same street our whole life. So it is difficult not having my home comforts, but I've got my dog up here with me, and it's nice to have the time with my boyfriend because obviously otherwise we're long distance. So it's
of
for
course.
me, it's really lovely. But saying that, I do find it difficult to work from home in the same room as both of us working together. We do get on top of each other a little bit, so I'm ready to go back to the office, I think.
Okay, I'll let you sort that one out.
Yeah.
Kelsey Dowling has asked, what do you think is one thing we can all do in our everyday life to feel empowered and confident?
Oh no, I think I've lost you again.
Sorry, guys, we are back. This has been the most
Oh.
difficult interview I've ever done from a technical point of view.
Uh,
Let me make sure the stream is still going. Yep, bless, there are still people watching.
oh my
So,
God, thanks for being patient with us, guys.
now, give me just a sec to reset Sadie's photo. Oh, I'll deal with this in a sec. Sadie, we were answering questions. So whilst I'll get Sadie to answer a question, I'll keep playing around with the picture. Now, did we do the what do you think is one thing we can do in our everyday life to feel empowered and confident? Did we answer that question?
No, but that's a great question. Who was that?
Let's go for that one. That is Kelsey Dowling.
That's a Kelsey question. Okay, so something we can do in our everyday life. So something that I like to do to feel empowered is I will, almost on a daily basis, I think almost every day, I'll just remind myself, what are my positive traits? I think there's nothing that I find sadder is when you ask someone, oh, what do you like about yourself? Or what is your biggest strength? And they say, oh, I don't know, I haven't got any. And I think that was definitely me as a teenager and probably early 20s, where I think now I've spent a long time working out what my strengths are. So I think to feel empowered, one thing you want to do is work out what your strengths are. Don't compare yourself to what everyone else is doing, because there are going to be people that are great at makeup, people that are great at maths, some people that are great at engineering. And if you judge, what's the phrase? If you judge a fish by how it flies, then you're going to think that it... Oh, stop me, I'm terrible with phrases.
We know what you mean.
Yeah, something like that. So I think as long as you take time, and it really is, set out an actual period of time, not just, oh, it's in the back of my mind, I'll think of something when I think of it. Set out a period of time where you just write on a piece of paper or on your phone notes, what do you like about yourself? What are you good at? And how can you use those traits to achieve your goals? Having goals feels empowering anyway, because if you're someone that sits there and thinks, oh, well, I'm not going to set a goal because I can't achieve it, you're not even taking the first step. So just by setting goals and working out what your strengths are, it's the first step to feeling empowered and having a voice and sharing it with the world, what you're passionate about.
Now, we've got a few Welsh words here. I don't know if this is where you are or where I was, although that looks very familiar. It's Dolgellau, Dothgethla. Is that? I think that's where I was. I think that's the place on the west coast. And then Kelsey Dowling has written that really long word, and it's so long, funnily enough, and because there's no gaps in it, it doesn't fit on my comments thing. It just starts
no chance. Something gwylio, something go. It's something like that.
I get the go at the end, but I swear it looks like just if my cat stepped on my keyboard, it looks like it would spell out a word looking like that. Kudos to anyone who can say that. I'm not even going to try. Helen Adams has said, I say I smooth the dog. You're not alone.
Thank God.
Such an unusual phrase. Kelsey Dowling has said face masks and tea, reading in bed. Those are the self-care questions, I think.
Oh, to be fair, I do now have a good skincare routine. Finally, at the age of 25, I've actually bought some proper skincare products. So that is actually quite relaxing. That's a good shout.
What took you so long?
Oh, do you know what? I know it sounds stupid because I do beauty pageants, but I'm really, really rubbish when it comes to beauty regimes. I didn't have a good skincare routine. I still don't know how to style my hair. I'm watching YouTube videos throughout this quarantine period. I'm okay, I think, with makeup. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong. But no, I'm terrible. I'm really terrible with beauty stuff. So I think finally I thought, no, I'm going to start aging soon, and I need to care about my skin.
It's always a bit odd to talk to someone who's competing in beauty pageants, and then they go, I don't know how to do my hair, or I don't know makeup. Or it's like,
oh,
really?
No.
Then how do you survive? I guess you have people who do it for you is the answer. But yeah, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't know what to do with their hair. Kelsey Dowling has said, you just did your classic misremember a phrase, but somehow it made complete sense. Oh, the fish up a tree.
I'm known for this. Like every single time I try and say a catchphrase, I'll say it wrong. And then that's how I get corrected, and then I learn the phrase. So I think Kelsey's talking about, I said, okay, so the phrase is cut off your nose to spite your face, right? That's the phrase. Whereas I was saying cut off your toes to spite your feet. which still makes sense, but it's just not the right phrase. And that's like the type of thing I do. So I do it all the time. I'm terrible for it.
It's an unusual talent, though, to be able to misquote a phrase completely, but still have it make sense and still start with the same letters. That's quite a talent.
Creative, throwing my own spin on it.
Sounds good to me.
Copyright.
Now,
I copyright that phrase, Sadie Pulman.
Go for it. That sounds a lot more painful for some reason than cut your nose off. Now, Elin, the one I won't pronounce. If you could learn an instrument, what would it be and why?
I always wanted to learn piano, and I was always furious because my brother and my sister both had piano lessons, and they decided they couldn't be bothered and didn't want to do it anymore. And then when I came, it was like, oh, well, the other two didn't enjoy it. She won't need to do it. So I was left out and I didn't get to learn the piano. And guess what? I'm still salty about it.
Salty, Sadie.
Oh.
That sounds like that'll be your favorite word, salty. Ellen has also said that she's willing to give you drum lessons. I don't know if drum is the best instrument to be learning during quarantine when everyone is stuck indoors, but drum lessons, no.
I don't think I could do it. I don't have very good rhythm. You need good rhythm, don't you, for drums?
Well, to be fair, you need good rhythm for most music. You can't just play when you want.
Very true.
There's levels of creativity that we can accept, and that's probably not playing whatever you want is probably not one of them. Okay, guys, if you have any more questions for Sadie, and thank you for sticking with us through the myriad of technical difficulties. This has been absolutely the weirdest, most horrible interview, not from who I'm interviewing. It's been great, but just the technical difficulties have been out of this planet. If you have any more questions, please put them in the comments below. Appreciate you sticking with us, and I will come back to them after I run Sadie through the final 10. Sadie, before we do that, any shout outs you want to give to your supporters or family or friends?
Oh, it sounds like everyone's on here, so I feel like I don't want to say a few people and I miss people out. So I'm going to say abroad, thank you to everyone that's watching right now. All of my closest friends, you know who you are, have been so supportive throughout this whole journey. I've got to mention my Miss Wales girls. We have a group chat and we're all supporting each other every single day. And I just love you all, honestly. It just fills my heart seeing everyone come together. And it really is. Every comment, every like, every message of support is really noticed, and it really does make a difference.
Well, I can see Gabriella just liked this, liked the video. So you've got Miss Wales herself watching.
Hi,
so
Gab.
you do really have everyone watching. I hope she wasn't on when I was talking about people laughing at her accent, but she'll remember what we were talking about. I remember they were getting her to say raspberry was another one. For some, that's the one they were laughing at her for.
You say that funny, raspberry.
Well, this goes back to pasta versus pasta, and I was thinking about that this morning because people make fun of me for saying pasta because apparently all you guys say pasta. But I'm like, pasta. You say dance, we say dance. Anyway, we won't. No. I could do a whole thing about accents because every country's accent is so different. It's amazing. Okay, let's go through the final 10, and then any more questions from the viewers, we'll circle back to them. But Sadie, what is your favorite word apart from salty?
My favorite word is kindness. It's a cheesy one, but it's so important to me, and I think everything I do, I lead with kindness. And if that doesn't fit into what I'm doing, I shouldn't be doing it.
What is your least favorite word?
I'm sure you will have had this word before, because I think this is a lot of people's least favorite word, but I can't stand the word moist. Even saying it goes through me. Hate it.
I knew moist always has the big wind up and the pitch.
So much.
Whenever anyone is saying, you've probably heard this before, I know a moist is coming. Gabriella has said hey, so Gabriella,
hi,
what was the other word they were getting you to say? It was raspberry, almond, and I remember there was one other word, but I can't remember what the other word was. Anyway, question 3: what gets you excited, or what turns you on?
What gets me excited? I've got a good one for this. It's seeing my food coming at a restaurant. Honestly. So I have a thing. The girls, Kelsey and Ellen will tell you this because they hate this about me. But whenever we go to a restaurant, which is normally Nando's because we do love a Nando's, I've got to sit with my back facing where the food comes from. It's just my thing. I don't like sitting. So if the waiters are going to come from there, I hate that because I can't see my food come in. I like that moment where I see it coming and I'm like, my food's arriving.
So hang on, you have to do that because you can't control yourself, or you have to do that because you're so annoying if you're faced the other way?
No, it's just something I've done forever, and it's like now become like an OCD thing where I feel uncomfortable thinking about it coming from like behind, so I just like to see it arriving. Is that weird? Yeah, it's weird. Let's pretend I didn't say it.
I won't say anything. That Gabriella has said, I think it was discombobulated. That's right. Those are the three words I got Gabriella to say. How do you say discombobulated, Sadie?
Discombobulated. Is that weird? Oh. Gabriella's got a stronger Welsh accent than me, I think.
I still don't think it was funny, though. I don't really understand why they all thought it was funny, the way Gabriella was saying things. But I don't know. There are so many different accents in the UK. It's like there's a Rolodex of them. Question 4, what turns you off?
Just like general rudeness. I just think it's so unnecessary. If someone says hello to you or someone messages you and you just feel like there's no point replying, or you just blank people, or if you belittle people, I think that's such a horrible trait to have, because if someone's reaching out to you or if something's happening around you, it takes 2 seconds to just be kind. It takes 2 seconds just to fill someone's day with sunshine. If it's so easy, why don't we all just do it?
Absolutely. Thankfully, there's not too much rudeness in pageantry. That's a good thing.
No.
Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
What sound I love? This is going to sound like a strange one, but I quite like the sound of like, oh no, I don't even want to say it, but like a plopping. Like plop. I think that's quite satisfying. Delete this. Guys, you didn't see. No, I do just think it's going live. Okay, no, I'm cancelled. Cancel me. I'm not competing this show anymore. I'm going to go hide.
I know what you mean, because every day in the morning I have a Barocca, which is, quite a big, giant, fizzy tablet. And literally, I just recorded one time because I was getting ready for an interview, and I plopped the Barocca into the water. And then I put it up on Instagram, and someone literally messaged me saying, I've watched this 10 times now because that sound is so satisfying. So I do understand what you mean. What you said could be horribly misconstrued and taken out of context.
It's not the thing you thought of.
No, I knew. It's one of those answers that we know what you mean. It just sounds horrifically awkward.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, for ruining your night.
That was definitely an unusual. I never had plop as an answer to anything, but there you go. Question 6: what sound or noise do you hate?
I can't stand the sound of people eating cereal, because it's like the slurp and the crunch. And then I'm probably thinking of specific people, but do
you want to name them?
No, it's fine. But the sound of that, and then when some people fill their mouth too much with cereal and then they're breathing through their nose heavily as well. Do you know the noise I mean?
Not that one, no.
It's just too many things going on. The crunching and the slurping. I hate the sound of cereal.
What are they snorting whilst they're eating the cereal? Like what?
No, but like where you. I don't know now. It's just like you've got a full mouth. So you're like breathing through your nose. But then the sound of people breathing through their nose when they're eating, it's like it's heavier. Who eats like
this? What? Who are you hanging around that eats like this? It sounds like you're hanging around a bunch of pigs at a trough. Oh God. I was going to say, the slurping I just thought is rude. I thought in general, like, you shouldn't make slurping noises, whether it's soup or cereal or anything like that. I can't stand slurping noises. And when I interviewed Bethany Blissett, she said that crunching noise that you were talking about, so for her it was people eating crisps, that actually she has to leave the room or she just literally starts crying. That's how much it sets her off. So
See,
you're not alone on that one.
Same. Apples are the same because it's crunchy but wet at the same time. It's like the two together. It just goes through me.
It's crunchy and moist.
Oh. Oh God, I'm gonna have nightmares tonight.
It's funny. There are people who say they don't like that word, moist, and they just say it. And then there are people who almost can't say it because it sets them off. It's obviously you belong to that latter group.
I won't be saying it again after this interview ever.
I applaud your courage in saying it once. Question 7. If you could have any one superpower, what would it be and why?
I've got this question in the bag because I've got the best superpower and it's to talk to animals. I don't know what you need to fly for. I don't know what you need super strength for. There's things invented that can do all of those things. The only thing I can't do is speak to my dog, and I hate it. All I want to do is just check he's okay, ask how he's feeling, and I can't do it. That'll be my superpower. I don't know what I would do with it. I don't think you could really save the world by talking to animals, but it would be fun.
Your dog will probably say, "Please stop smoothing me." Or, please stop calling it smooth. It's a pet. Stop smoothing me. Question 8. If you could try any occupation other than your own, what would you most like to attempt?
I did always want to be, is it again with the animal theme, I always wanted to be a zookeeper.
Okay.
So I think if I could work with, I've been to a chimpanzee sanctuary and it's just so incredible. If I could work in an animal sanctuary, I feel like I would be doing good and it would just be cuteness overload all day long and I would just love it. Maybe I'll consider a career change. Shall I go back to uni? Yeah, maybe I will.
You can just go somewhere and pet the animals. You don't have to go to uni so that you can hang around animals more.
Well, I am loving that because up in North Wales, where I'm at now, it's basically all farmland. So I've got cows just in front of the house. I've got sheep in the next field. My boyfriend's family have got chickens, which actually became famous recently. So I don't know if anyone saw. Yeah, in the picture of me with the chickens, I had all of my boyfriend's family were getting calls saying, "Oh, I've seen the chickens in the paper." So they're all buzzing. The chickens are famous now.
They talked about the chickens and not yourself.
I know, but the chickens were the star of the show.
Okay. I mean, have you got many autograph requests after that photo in the paper? Guys, sorry, I was just telling Sadie, I'm so over this. Not Sadie, like Sadie's interview has been amazing, but this is just, we've dropped out 4 times. And as you can see, my photo is, I'm now a slit. You can see my one ear. But I'm going to let Sadie answer the final question whilst I try to fix up the video. So, Sadie, did we go through that? Did we answer question 9? What occupation would you not like to attempt? That's a number 9.
Oh, okay. No, we didn't do this one. So occupation I wouldn't like to attempt is a chef because I can't cope with heat. It's too hot in kitchens. I'm a terrible cook. And I don't think I'm bossy enough to tell everyone what to do. I think I'd hate being a chef. I'd crumble.
So what is there anything that you can cook, or we just shouldn't put you in the kitchen at all?
I can cook if I have someone telling me what to do or a recipe I can broadly follow. There's some things I can cook, but when it starts getting fancy or for more than 2 people, don't ask me. I can't do it.
Okay. All right. Final question, and we hope to God that it actually works.
Oh God, fingers crossed.
I'm trying to. I give up with my photo. I'll just be on the side. You can't see this, Sadie, but my webcam photo is like all over the place. I'm big, I'm small, Final question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would like to hear God say, "Welcome to the all-you-can-eat buffet," and I would just let loose. I would just absolutely go to town. Let me eat everything that exists on the planet. I'll be happy.
Would you need to face where the food is coming from? Can you explain that one to me? I mean, I feel like this has been, like, from a technical point of view, this interview has just been horrible. So I feel like we should stay on a little bit longer. Can you explain that one to me again? I still don't quite understand it.
I think it's a little bit as I want to see my food coming towards the table because of the excitement. But also, I don't like the feeling of people, like, walking from behind me, because when you can't see, like, so do you know when you go in a restaurant and you've got some that's against the wall, some chairs, and then you've got the other chairs, and normally the chairs against the wall are also cushioned, comfier. That's my spot, and I just bagsy it, and then that's my spot, and the girls hate it.
Okay. All right. I guess whatever works for you. I mean, it makes us. I do have a friend who's similar to that. But anyway, look. I want to thank everyone who's stuck with us. I mean, there's still people watching. Bless you. This is not typically how an interview goes. This has never happened to me once, let alone 3 or 4 times. Look, Sadie, apologies for the technical hitches. I don't know if it was your fault, my fault, or God knows what. Maybe God just didn't want this to happen. But thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, and thank you everyone for staying patient.
And I'll keep you on the line for just a sec, Sadie. But thanks to everyone for watching and sticking with us. And we will see you next time, hopefully with a bit of a smoother interview. But we'll see you next time. What's up, guys? It's Adrian again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com. Join our launch team for our review site. It's super important to all of us to make sure that the industry is safe, transparent, and fair. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, write in your email address, and we'll speak to you next time.